Ryan's budget presentation.
He's the first one this year.
All right.
He
Gold
gets
star.
He gets a star. There you go.
Yep,
We'll start with not just weed.
Well, he should, since he's got a new pickup.
that's right. And it is kind of gold beside
Yeah, pretty good.
it. It is pretty.
It doesn't show you. Oh, I thought it was a color here, isn't it? The hose coloring? Yeah, that stands out, doesn't it? As far as 2020, you look at the bottom line, and it's a big difference. 93,000 to 111,000. What that difference is you'll notice down there on capital outlay, $18,100. That's for the selling the truck last year. With the auditors, we didn't amend the budget to put it in this year, so I'm gonna add it in, get that money back next year. So that's $18,100 there for me. That's getting money back into my capital outlay.
The problem with
So then-
selling on Purple Wave is he can't deposit that money directly into his reserve.
Which I thought I could, I can't, so.
So we have to, the next budget year, we have to work it in the budget to where it can get transferred in off his cash. Melissa,
So it'd be 2021.
Yeah.
You see that.
in his reserve.
It is easy.
So you put that back in and your budget's just gonna be $674 higher?
Yeah. And that's, and I include every year I
It's
include
skewed
it.
because of that 18,000.
The total is how much, right?
The
you
new
should
total,
do that.
if you take this off, it'd be 93,670.
It's just a cleanup from that Purple Wave stone, which, I mean, I think we get better prices for it, but for this, it muddies the finance.
And so,
So what's the
from
difference?
here on in, I'm gonna trade in. This was just a, you know, I just saw we got that truck because it was, like, from here on out, I'm just gonna trade it in or not. No.
It's not easy, because you can't deposit directly into those reserve funds. You have to transfer it.
And
Out
then
of
wait
the
until the end of the budget year and transfer.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it won't be, I can't transfer it
Or-
until the end of 2020.
But what kind of difference you talking about between trading in and some on Purple Wave?
I bet you, I would imagine, but what, I got 13, but I bet you $1,500, $2,000.
Some of it.
And in this case, it didn't hurt him because he wasn't looking to purchase out of that reserve fund the next year. But like with Philip on his machinery fund, he has to wait. Typically, he runs money through there.
So is he gonna end up the same problem then? Because Phil, didn't we sell a grader on Purple Wave?
Yeah, but with Philip's budget, we always build in for that. Because we used to have to amend the budget for him every year, but we built in enough.
Because I always go and try to transfer, you know, every year, a little at the end of the year, every year, so I have enough. When my purchase is ready, usually don't have to amend the budget, do anything to the budget, I have enough there. This is just,
That was kind of a year.
and so I'm planning on going back where I just transfer in and then when I get enough to do it, then, and so it's usually not a very big deal.
But if you were to trade it in, you'd have to pull the sprayer off, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And sell that separately?
Well, like this next one, usually my sprayer lasts 2 trucks,
yeah.
and so I'll just take it off, I'll take it off and then
But
put it
I
on the
mean,
new
down
truck.
the road.
Yeah. Well, then because I can trade it in to like Fairbank.
Yeah.
They would
okay.
give me, not much, would give me something.
Oh,
for it.
okay.
Yeah, or whoever would build the next sprayer. But that's my plan is to keep it for 2 sprayers. That's roughly 15 years.
You mean 2 trucks?
For 2 trucks, yeah. Sorry. 2 trucks. Right. We trade for another sprayer.
That'll put Ryan at about
You'd
67,
be
so.
retired by then, right?
Ryan will be buying
He'll be
another
the
sprayer.
next guy.
Because hopefully.
See, that's what I keep saying. Oh, that's not my fault.
But yeah, hopefully not still having to work. 70, but probably. But so yeah, that's the big difference there was that. And I put in the cost of living for Cindy and I, so how that goes every year.
So on your deal where it says Cindy's dollar amount, and then it says 4 times a year, she gets paid that 4.
Yeah, I I pay her 4 times a year. I mean, we take turns paying solid,
Yeah.
solid waste out of Road and Bridge. out of mine.
Her salary's a third.
Okay.
4 times a year, we do a transfer out of, it all initially gets paid out of Road and Bridge. And then 4 times a year, we do a journal entry to transfer out of noxious food and solid waste and put it back in.
So
I
it's,
put that in for my benefit.
yeah, but it's this amount times 4 is what you transfer.
It's his amount.
Okay.
And then as far as that, just, I mean, everything pretty much just kind of stayed the same with the rest of it. But that is the noxious weed budget. Environmental services. The only change I have in it is I did put an increase for myself at the beginning of 2020. I think after 2 years of experience, about $100 a month more. Last year, like I said, it was 55 wells. Well, we finished 6 of 8 septics. This year,
You said last year was 5
55 wells, and we finished 6 of 8 septics. And the other 2 were getting finished this year. And so far, I've had, it's crazy. I've got 3 that are just about finished. And the other day, I had calls on 5 in about 30 minutes.
Septics or what?
Septics. It was nuts. And so we got actually two of those are commencing. I've got paperwork out. We went out and did pit profiles, and I just started. There's 3 others that they're waiting to go talk to soil conservation cost share. And then I've also had calls on 4 others. So we're looking at 12, right now. So it could be a weird year on septics. And as wet as it is, there may be others that fail.
So most of these are failed septic systems?
Yes.
What do you charge them as far as a fee for a septic system?
It's $75.
$75.
$50 for a well, $75 for septic. And so, I mean, yeah, that's just taking into account, basically, the well is two visits for me. I go out and do a site location and go back and do a final inspection when it's done. The septic takes usually 3. We do a site location, and you meet with the contractor. They design the system with my help on how many feet of lateral and everything. And then we okay it so that it's in county zone, and then after they're done, when they're finished it, then I go back and check before they.
But the 75 is
It's
the
basically-
total.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's basically $25 an hour. It takes me 2, and then Cindy for the
Yeah.
paperwork. And then
$25 an hour plus mileage.
it's base
It
salary.
looks to me like that.
It's-
Be a lot of
it's-
go-off.
Well, I mean, I took it down. I mean, most of them are well above that. Most counties are.
Yeah.
But also, I think most people here are paying taxes anyway, so I looked at just kind of covering our costs and not making a lot of money out of this. But, I mean, and it's, like I said, it's gone well, and this year, I said, and so far, I've got 11 wells we've done so far this year, where last year was 23 by this time. So I think last year it was new, and I think it's just easier for them to deal with me a little quicker than what we were doing before. And so I don't know. Yeah, I think so. But other than that, I mean, it's been going well. I haven't heard any complaints. I don't know if you guys have heard anything.
Never heard a word.
That's good. I prefer it be that way, so. But, so that's ended up, the budget went up $5 after. So. And that's the environmental services. You guys have any questions on anything? I chemical mow, what I did really early. There's been some few escapes of cheat, but it's only that tall and it's headed down, where it was when the cheat was thick. And so, otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. And it's held off. I know when I just compare where I go, Reno County's mowed twice, and Phil hadn't mowed yet, so. we've got six.
Did you do Douglas Township this year?
I did it last fall.
I was gonna say, there's a few few roads where, you can tell the line. They did a good job.
Is that, yeah, that was after June in the fall. It did, I mean, it got some moisture on it and activated it,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I mean, the ditch will be dead, and then there's cheating right at all, right outside your spray, so I mean, you did a good job with Douglas Township.
You think your aftersheen lasts as long as it normally does?
Probably not.
I don't think.
And it
It
just,
just works without too much.
that's a lot of it.
Came back a lot quicker.
You're either whining, there's no moisture getting applied, or whining too much.
And while we shovel was getting weedy, normally when you plant corn into it, there's nothing there.
Right.
Oh, nothing. I don't think it was the fact that he didn't spray it. I mean, I think it was just the fact that it washed it up.
Yeah, it did, I mean, yeah. Well, and it, because we got really wet, and then it just shut off for a little while, and then it got really wet, and it's, those extremes, it's not good at all.
Yeah, it's either too wet or too dry for a farmer.
For spring season. And yeah, I haven't done a whole lot I started doing some township roads, spraying some bindweed, but it's not blooming yet, but what you can see growing. This thistle was started, it's just these cold nights have got everything really screwed up, so the thistle hasn't bolted nearly as early as and that's easier to find, so working on that. KDOT, I'm going to be spraying some brush for KDOT. Yes, I could do that on 281-50 West. And also, if it's okay with you guys, the Kinsley office asked if I could bear ground on their guardrails. And I'll do that like $90 like my new truck. Except my serious thing ran out.
Oh, man.
It could work with it.
I didn't figure the county would want to pay serious radio for it. I was going to put it on my phone, and because Phil does it on his phone, and then you do it. My wife doesn't want to pay for
Your wife
service.
didn't want that, did
You're
she?
serious off your phone, you can run it through all the cars and stuff.
You like Bluetooth?
Yeah.
No, well, I don't Bluetooth it to my cars, but you could, yes.
I thought that's what you did your truck.
No, I just have it on there, I just pay for it.
I'm not going to pay for it.
But you gotta pay for one of them somewhere.
Try to sneak that in somewhere.
Do they get
like
down
the
to-
clerk's office or something?
So-
Yeah, do that. I have a vehicle.
What's
You might get
what's
caught.
the last one I got was like $4.99 a month.
That was a pretty good deal, but,
But I had two of them, so.
well, that's, well, two of the vehicles I own, and then the county vehicle that I pay for. So when you move it, it's just 6 months.
What?
So,
I think it's worth it. We haven't known vehicles.
that's all I.
I love
do.
it. Yeah.
Mine ought to be running that pretty soon on my.
That's, yeah,
Correct.
that's, since I got the 6 months, I got used to it. It's like, oh, man.
Well, it depends on how much you're gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm with a tractor all the time. You don't listen.
I
You
just-
do
But
so
I'm serious,
much.
you
Oh,
get-
wow.
I'm serious, you
No.
get all sorts of stuff.
Oh, that's
I like the
NPR a lot.
I love those radio classics, the old radio shows. I love those.
I just tune mine over
Clayton.
to promotion, when it runs out, we just
Oh.
play that one loop on. Call 1-800.
Other than that. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Hey, Ryan, there's on the noxious weed insurance,
Yes.
3 to 750 to 500. Why is it jump down so much?
Oh, well, I just went down, because this was my 19 budget, and then I figured out that's all we're paying. I lowered it $250 just. Because I assume that's,
I think campers.
and so, I mean, if it's gonna stay that way, I gotta lower it down again. Yeah, I didn't know, especially with the new truck, and then I got the trouble
Yeah.
too, and so I kicked everything kind of up to make sure we could cover it, and now I brought it back down for.
Somebody from Houston that was worked for NASA.
No, not really. Would you burn it? Oh, that is tables there.
How'd you do that?
There's softball The catcher moves over and I'm standing there right, and I'm exposed.
What'd you say then?
Oh, I jumped up. No, I didn't cuss.
Oh, shoot, Gus the catcher.
No, but the trouble of it is, the same catcher, she did the same thing a while back and it hit me right here. It welted it, it just foamed up, or it was full.
Maybe you ought to sit back there like this.
Yeah,
I
well.
don't think that'd be smart.
How long has Cindy worked down there?
Full time. Was when he came up here, was that 05?
It was part-time.
Yeah, she worked part-time.
So basically 14 years. All right, recommendations for salary increase.
These guys, they could have done that. Randall, I mean, as I started higher rate, I just let it go a little longer. But they're good, you guys do a good job. They're just.
It's not the guy that used to work for,
No.
Gary Long.
Marvin. That's Marvin. Marvin.
Has he got over his, didn't he have blood clot in his leg? He's got over it.
Yeah, he's fine now. So I got told this is what you got to mess with that. So he thinks so. I said, it's a lot of you.
I think he's one of those guys that you put in with anybody.
Yeah.
And he can like.
I mean, he can drive a truck or he can go fast. He don't care. I mean, he's just a good natured guy.
Do we need to do these separately?
It's the same
Yeah,
range.
it's
Same range, same set,
Okay,
Same.
different.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we increase the salary for Marvin Miller and Randall Tucker from range 6, step 5 to range 6, step 6, effective May 1. Second.
We have a motion and a second to increase the step grades for Marvin Miller and Randall Tucker from range 6, step 5 to range 6, step 6. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Initial or sign.
Do we have sandbag in place?
Ratings,
Did
She
you
was
ever,
worried about Teresa.
did you ever go up there next day, you know where it drains? Just right outside of town, right on the edge of those houses?
Oh, you went to the west, to the east?
Yeah.
Yeah, them people, I mean, it's actually the cities. I mean, we can do something, but those people are not like how. it happens.
No, I meant just the drainage. You know, she had worried about that drainage. She said, it looks to me like you guys farming that shed. And I looked at it.
No.
It's just no drop.
No, and it's not going to. It's going to come in there, and then it's going to meander out slowly. It has for, since Brady was put there.
I told her best.
So, Teresa Beveridge. She did take me last night. We did, I mean, we had contact. She figured her have sandbag. I mean, the only thing I think is have sandbag. Senior citizens, because there's kind of a permanent diagram on Grace. It's on the west side, on the east side.
East side.
Yeah, east side of it.
Yeah, I mean, along that ditch, her house is got a sandbag berm sitting there that I think they covered it. It's grown over. Yeah, I mean, it needs to.
You still got a berm there, but it's
We're going to
sandbags.
interior.
Because I remember that one year we went up there, and they got some group of kids out there.
Oh, yeah, we've all seen it there. It was, we've all seen it there, because that's what they had trouble over there.
Was that 93?
No, that was in the seven. And that was that ditch that was started years and years ago. It was on private property. Agreements with anybody who would know the north mouth and so the landowners basically had. Yeah, it's not a good situation. That I have. Jeez. STOELTING, the south of the movie place up there by the mile. We put a crossroad pipe in
Did I send that to you?
You did, but I
Oh, okay.
didn't get to the
there.
office.
Just wanted out of there.
Thinks it's running water where it shouldn't be running.
No, it won't run water unless we put it in. Paving reason. It's just a collection. That's what this is, this county. So, I addressed this concern once. Last night. Called me anytime, but I said, we don't just put pipes across roads without having an engineer look at it, unless we're just flat. Pipe because it's interior.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can put all the interest focus if we want, but across from the pipe, I'll put it in. And then we talked about.
So is he wanting culvert replaced or
No.
wanting culvert put in?
If you want, I mean,
Boy, howdy.
yeah, that's a second, thank God. So,
As long as the 3 lines, I was interested.
Yeah, no kid.
it's pretty long, but if you want. I really don't understand what it is. Ow. We did get one day at Crittersville, then. Yeah. That's your place.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. We're going back to the west of the
So how many's participating in that?
Stafford Township, T-Mobile, North Cedar, South Cedar, Lincoln. And Clearlake.
Now, is that hands-on or just?
No, it was about an hour last time. And,
Probably does.
So is he saying the culvert's sitting at an angle?
No, he's saying it drains uphill to the south. Well, there's that ditch that runs. that
Yeah, I'm not
drains-
real familiar with that.
Well, that big old ditch that runs, I mean,
Yeah.
it basically tries to drain sewer.
Yeah.
Like that from there. That's how it all comes out. It was started in like the 60s.
And that it's trying to drain uphill?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's draining the wrong way.
Well, and I know how the,
Yeah.
and I know how the pipe is set. The
Yeah.
pipe is set up. I mean, it will eventually get to the south if some ditches cleaned out, but it really doesn't. Without letting some other pipes.
I guess I'm not sure what he's wanting there. Where's this?
I think he's just,
But-
I think he's just wanting to vent, but that's okay.
I mean, if he wants
I mean, there's
Mike,
no-
if he wants them to come out and survey that and do that, if he wants to pay for it, that's fine.
Well, they told us, okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, there's nobody even lives in that mile, so I don't understand his concern. If he doesn't like the number to call him, so I'll see if I can track him.
You know, a couple years ago, we had somebody thought they needed to pull from Douglas Township, and we said, well, you know, pay for the survey, that's fine, but Michael's, they came out, they said that don't need no culvert, we paid the bill, never heard no word. I mean, it's basically grounds this way, it ain't going, there's no movement.
Well, and that's why I let it, you know, that's why it goes to the engineers. Yeah. I'm not gonna listen to it, say, well, you're doing a job that you're doing something you're not qualified to do. You're right, I'm not, and I'm not going to do that. You want to figure drainage, and you don't want to figure some other thing. I asked Rob about that mobile command, and he, used for it. It's actually titled to the fire department for some reason. That's where we found when.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know, originally, the fire department set that whole thing up.
Or if it got through emergency services, was put all
I
under
don't
one
know.
umbrella
It
at one
was,
time.
it was done.
So you guys thinking we don't need it?
It doesn't work well.
I mean, I just don't want to get rid of it and then next year decide we need $100,000 mobile command deal.
No, I mean, that would be,
Yeah.
we need something to replace it, yes, but I do think it's really investigated for a long time. We just jumped at it. Because there are other places that we can apply. Let us use theirs. I know I talked to last guy. I'm sure some other places would too. But it'd be used for something like that, maybe that they can do is shoot the sewer or a big fire that's gonna, go on more than part of the day.
So what's all in? Besides
There's one radio and that's it.
Is this in the old ambulance?
Yeah, the one that sits
It
outside.
sits outside
So the generator?
Is there a generator in it?
Yeah.
No.
What powers is everything 12 volt then?
Yes, it's all converted. Most of it converted.
So if you guys decide you need to have something, you're talking about some kind of trailer or what? Or do you think we just
Yeah.
get by without something?
Well, until we decide, and I think this is a decision that needs to be done by a lot of people, not one person.
Yeah.
I should have input just because you get control the cost. And something that's going to be functionally useful.
Yeah.
I understand we're not gonna get everything built, so I know Rob understands that. Some people never will, but it's okay.
My experience with asking a lot of people what they want, you get a bunch of want lists, that ends up being
Well, but
$100,000.
Yeah, but the trouble of it is, it's going to
The
be.
Long Jane RV,
Yeah.
where you have more room inside of it. This thing has.
It was like you talked about earlier.
Yeah. So like either an enclosed trailer or a camper type of
Yeah, something that you could,
that's got a generator and
then
then
you can sit down, at a table or something and have a map. Probably trying to do something out in the weather, whether it be raining or heat
Was that what we ran at that last shooting?
Up with Seward.
Yeah, a little bit.
There was no air conditioning. I'm not complaining, I'm just
If it had
saying.
been wintertime, there would have been no heat.
I just remember we sat on the tailgate.
Yes.
Was that the same vehicle?
Yes, the same deal.
Okay.
So basically in there, you need to have a radio and
Several. It needs several radios. It should have an 800 radio. It should have UHF, VHF, just so you can talk to surrounding counties. So not everybody is on the same system.
Do you have to have a computer in it?
As long as you have power, you can listen to the laptop.
So your most expensive deal is gonna be your radios and then the trailer, and probably a generator. So if you got like, say you bought a camper trailer, I'm assuming you'd get a bumper hitch. Who would tow it out to the side?
Well, let's see, that's the issue. I mean, if something happens here, dispatcher needs to get out immediately. Getting somebody to get the camera there. It's not something, I mean, if you had a vehicle, they could probably jump into it, but, you know, how often is that going to happen?
Yeah,
What's the percentage of that? So, I mean, it all comes down.
it's all about concern.
Yeah, it does. And everything comes down to, you play a percentage. I mean, it's just, everything in life is that way.
Because if you have the ambulance out there for sitting for a year and a half and somebody around that jumps in it,
Yeah, I
you're
think.
rolling the dice on whether it's gonna start or not.
Yeah. And it did start the other day, Marshall's ticket started it up, and it did start.
There's been times that have.
But it's an 87, is that right?
Why don't we just pull a radio out, put it on Bourbon Way,
That's what I'm, and then
find something else?
between Rob and.
I'm still thinking Rob's got that perfect good camper out there.
That you wouldn't go into without a tetanus shot?
Yeah, I went in it.
Have we found the owner of that one? or-
Still at the lines, and I've talked to them. Never heard anything back. There's a dispute on who owns it and who doesn't own it, or who's living in it. So,
If you shut the cameras off, I'll hook onto it with my pickup, take it to line wherever it came from.
Well, I was gonna say, the storage bill on it's probably worth more than what they had.
it was worth more than that in the first month.
Well, maybe when I send them an invoice.
We don't really know what to send you, that's your problem. She got home.
That and then that.
And it's been sitting there
It
for how
needs to
long?
be cleaned up.
Yeah, that just looks, to me, it doesn't just sit down there. Because people really see that very well.
Yeah, with the ambulance.
Couldn't we just file a claim on ownership and move it out?
That way.
So do you want to just take the radio out of it, put it on purple order? Will that money that comes then go in emergency preparedness or into the sheriff's or what? What department action, or department?
What department would you purchase?
It just needs to be set aside, not go back in the department and go force purchase it.
It has to go somewhere.
But who, if you end up buying a trailer,
Well, we
whose
have
trailer would it be?
improvement for.
if we replace it?
Right.
Yes.
Don't we have one on emergency preparedness too?
We started that last year.
They're
Who uses
in
the
general.
most?
Yeah.
So
Over the past
that's all
Yeah,
out.
you can't put that money directly in.
It has to wait till the end, you'll have to receive it and then your transfer. That I do.
Things like that, search ones.
So,
More time involved, we take it.
but, I mean, I think you should go back to emergency preparedness.
Once you
That's
have big staff in the school,
a portion of it at least is where you're doing, or whatever your replacement is.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's gotta go under somebody's. Was
And who knows how many years it's been under fire.
Yeah. Well, but at one time, it's just, everything was under emergency services. And then nobody knows longer.
Would have been whenever it was taken out of EMS. Wouldn't it have been?
I don't know.
Honestly,
Honestly, for years, the fire and EMS inventories were so skewed and wrong that right now I think they're accurate and pretty good because we've really been working on them, but I think, I
Those
mean, I know
things
years
are
ago, it
wild.
was just,
Could use that.
we were answering things we had.
I don't believe it was.
There was
I think it was
no,
just something we had here that just,
I think it's just something that.
we couldn't get enough out of it, we made it worthwhile just to say.
Are you good with,
Yeah.
are you good with him
Yeah,
signing on?
but when, you have to have a technician take the radio out, or just you can move it yourself?
I'm pretty sure we
Yeah.
can have it ourselves.
I'm in favor of taking the radio out and putting that unit on total wave.
Okay.
Motion. I'll make a motion that we pull the radio out of that emergency preparedness camper, RV, whatever it's called, or ambulance.
Mobile command.
Mobile
Vehicle.
Vehicle. Yeah, really.
Can I ever repeat that?
How did you put it down here? And then place it on purple.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to take the mobile command vehicle and put on purple wave out, you take the radio out, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
What do you think of that camper trailer for Bateman? I mean, it's just been stuck here today, all this time, and it's every day, he calls it, he comes whatsoever, he calls it.
Take, does it got a VIN?
I'll find it out.
Get me a VIN and
I would walk, I'll say we contact the driveway, and say something.
Yeah, just get it.
Don't they get the title then?
They'll take the time.
You think it's worth?
Somebody will want it.
There's somebody that might think,
Hey, I can,
strip it off and save the frame.
or I can put it out as a hunting cabin
Can you
or
sell
something like
something out of
that.
title?
If you got $100, it's $100.
No, that's what we.
He does have to haul it off, I think. There's items still in there. Should be clear everything out the inside of it first.
no.
Can't tell who's it is.
I just make a post in the paper that anybody wants
Not
to.
really, there's old clothes in there.
Yeah, that would
I
probably
like
have to be a local unit.
Yeah.
Because that's why we could sell.
No,
it.
sell it.
If you
Right.
have a title for it.
And you guys still have that use nice
Grab everything in it.
It's like
You
the
just don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, we
evidence
still
holders.
got a trailer down there.
It's like the evidence.
I mean, if he's doing.
Shit.
I think it's
What's in your sleeve?
Stuff from a long time ago
Just leave
that
it.
should
I
have
think the
got
vendor did grab off on that.
So, just leave it?
I mean,
And
it's
they
factory
take possession.
possession.
as is.
Yeah.
Big text or something.
That sounds really big. There's some damn big trailer companies that's around.
But if you don't have title to it, you can't put it on
No.
purple wave. Why not just haul it out to landfill?
Well, for that camper, that's what let's talk.
No, I don't want to. I'll drag it out
It's a
there
big
for you.
circle.
Yeah, that word is not in my vocabulary.
Do what paperwork you need.
I need the VIN.
I'll get you
VIN and the last known. Who was
You
seized
can try to
from.
run it again and see where it comes from. I
Exactly.
just go off the bed and see what that.
Give me the addresses and the last known.
Is Shayla out there?
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Jen.
Yeah.
You got anything else, Bill? Nope.
They were wondering.
Come on in,
I'm
Shannon.
just hanging out here in the hallway.
Wait. Burning time, I didn't know he was here.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Give us the
that's a
good
nice way to
news.
say it.
Good news.
Well, I heard you were there whenever TNT was taking the fans out.
Yeah.
So I don't know everything that they said. I heard the drywall was okay.
They said the drywall was okay. They said they pulled off the baseboard and that since it was sewage water, they need to put new baseboard in.
Yes.
They can't reuse
Yeah,
it.
they took all of the baseboards in the bathrooms, and there's one in the hallway that they took too.
They said they didn't know about the tile, but it felt to me like some of the tiles were popping up.
One of them broke,
Yeah.
and
My experience with those Buddha
They
tiles
look
is once you get them
terrible now.
wet, they start coming up.
they look terrible now.
So, did they go ahead and clean, sanitize the carpet?
Teresa, I called Nita and asked if there was a shop vac, like a wet dry vac, to vacuum some of the water up. And she brought that and a carpet cleaner, and she ran the carpet cleaner on both spots in the hallways and outside of that one bathroom in the break room. So that's the only thing that's been done so far with the carpets, but you can still see a ring in both spots on the carpet.
Because when I talked to TNT, it sounded like they could commercially clean
Or we
apartments.
could get Magic Dry.
I would say that you ought to have, in my opinion, let's think that you want it professionally clean.
I think it needs to be
And
asked
then I
first.
think that, in my opinion, I'd say the tiles need to be ripped up and the new flooring put down.
That was my first thought whenever I saw it initially, because you would step on a tile and water would squish between the cracks of the tile. And like I said, one of them broke in the break room bathroom, and they've all scooted around with them setting the fans up. They're not setting there nice anymore. And I really don't think that they're gonna stay.
Yeah, I'm just speaking from a liability issue here.
Yeah.
This is the health department, right?
Uh-huh.
We don't want
No.
mold or
Exactly.
any of those issues.
No, but whenever
We don't want to say, we knew about this a year ago and
When
didn't
TNT came in, they
Do it
sprayed
right.
cleaner that was supposed to get rid of mold. They made sure to do that on the drywall before they set up the fans.
do it.
But I think that the tile needs to be replaced. It looks
The
terrible.
boring company that hit the sewer line and knew they hit something, but was just gonna wait and see what happened, will be getting the bill for it.
Yes, they will.
So I mean,
And I called him and I told him everything that had happened. So he was supposed to be paying Davis for fixing the line. And I told him it ruined flooring and that it was gonna have to be replaced, so he's well aware.
Did he come up?
If he did, it was whenever I was gone. I have not seen him because I went to the WIC conference. So the day after all of this happened, I was gone for a couple days.
I thought that guy from Wamego said he was coming out.
He did say he was going to, so, but nobody has told me that he showed up, so I don't think he has. So I'll need to
When
give him a
Davis
call
started
again.
looking out to locate, there was a square painted out in the parking lot
With an
where the
X.
people said, yeah, we hit something here.
Yes, and I took, Ryan was the first one to show up, and I took him out there, and I said, right here is where they hit something in the parking lot, so.
Yeah, they're on that. If there's problems, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old is that tile?
I have no idea, it's super old.
It's that flexible stuff like we have in the gym. Oh, are you thinking asbestos?
We haven't.
Well, that's all mold back on them.
Well, is that,
So if it is though, are we going to be able to remain in business when they're pulling that out, or are we gonna have to close?
No, you don't have to close.
Exactly.
But when that tile's loose, you can just go over the top of it.
No.
So I mean,
It needs
Well,
to be pulled up because it was
you-
water under it.
Once it's dry and everything, you can cover it.
Do you think it's a good idea though, since it was so
Yeah,
wet?
But the fact is that since there was so much water, we ran into the issue with, remember, the annex, where the stage is, we had to get an hazmat people to remove that portion. But the rest of it could be covered.
if it's tight, it can be covered, but in this case, it.
So it is what it is. You're gonna have to find somebody, that can come in and take out. Because if it is old tile, it is more than likely the adhesive is water soluble. And if it's that old, it's gonna be, have asbestos backing.
I would guess it's probably it looks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think they'd ever shut down too long.
No,
Well, for those two
No, I
small
don't think
business,
it-
yeah, I would think it would only be a day to
But
get it
they'll
out of there, and then if
Suit
they.
up and their breathing apparatuses and cover everything in plastic and scrape it up, haul it off. As you remember the bill that we got when the tank overturned, hazmat came in and was sucking up the spillage.
I have no idea who even has asbestos removal.
TNT
Even start
removal.
calling.
Call
Okay.
TNT.
Okay.
And they may do
They
it.
may do it.
Okay.
And I do think we need to have four professional cleaners.
See if they want to do that, or we can get Magnet Drive if that's everything else.
I'll
Yeah,
go
then
TNT
replace
and
the
call this
carpet.
afternoon.
Pardon?
Either that or just replace the carpet.
Yeah.
It's gross too.
Replace it. This is the time.
Yeah.
Replace it.
Does it go all the way out here front?
It's the
Is it
front
your-
area, there's just a little patch of tile that's from the entryway door, and then right in front of the desk, there's tile. The rest of it's carpet, and the waiting room down the hallway, and then the break room. The exam rooms are that same exact tile that's in the bathrooms. And the lab is the same exact tile that's in the bathrooms. But the hallway in the front and the break room are carpet.
Oh, it's a carpet, and they should pay a portion of it. You've got money in reserve, so.
If we did that, I would prefer not to put carpet back down. I would rather do like vinyl or something else, because carpet in a medical facility is
Isn't it
just
good?
gross.
Yes, it is.
I would rather have something hard that's easy to clean if we're gonna do that. If that's okay.
Yes.
I mean, we don't have to go real expensive, but I'd rather.
And get some that's gonna last.
I want something that'll last, but it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be tile. It could be vinyl or something like that, but I would rather not do carpet.
Okay.
So what would you do, figure out, get an estimate of what the cleaning bill would be, and then basically pay the cleaning bill?
No, I mean, the carpet's ruined. Carpet's
So don't
ruined.
worry about cleaning the carpet.
No.
No, I wouldn't believe
That's
it.
just,
Yeah.
it's wasted money.
Okay. I
Maybe you
will-
could
Particularly in the health department.
Pardon me? And it's the health department.
Yeah, right.
You know, and I would suggest rather than vinyl or anything like that, is go into the ceramic tile board.
I mean,
Even the hallway.
yeah,
I mean, why put in vinyl when it's gonna last?
yeah, that's true.
And you got that much traffic that the tile's gonna wear rapidly.
That's true.
I mean, their insurance guy come out.
I will call them this morning and be like, are you gonna come out and look at this?
Yeah.
He was gonna have if they would come out.
Yeah, I think they would have told me if he had showed up while I was gone, and nobody has said that he showed up, so.
And our leverage is the health
And
department.
just call TNT and see
You
if
don't wanna
they
make people sicker.
Yeah.
Sicker.
tile.
Or if they know somebody that
I'm sure
can
they
safely do it.
That's what they do. I would be shocked.
They'll be really busy right now, but there's a lot of basements full of green.
Yeah,
That's true.
they are, but.
It'd be nice to be able to get the tile removed and the carpet removed and everything done by, big deal.
It would be.
Because I mean, you guys will probably be shut down, so what would you guys do?
Flooring
Move.
wise.
Do you have to?
Flooring wise.
I mean,
Is this your slow time?
yeah, it's the little gap in time between school stuff starting now, so the slowest time is like December, January, because that's when flu shots start tapering off because people got them in the fall.
If you do the ceramic tile, I would try to get, they have the ceramic tile now, that's tight. Don't hardly have a grout line on it. That's
And you could set up a temporary shop over the annex just in case, somebody needs.
I'd hate for my shingles vaccine to come in and shut down.
I'd hate it too. That's why I was saying she could have a temporary office over at the annex.
Yeah.
Or on the first floor, there's a meeting
It's just the logistics of figuring out
Getting all
the
your stuff.
vaccine and everything too.
Something.
Make it worth it.
Or could you go across the street to Farmers Clinic? These are rooms.
You can see.
That'll
We
be
have a couple of tents.
pretty convenient if you just put a sign and say we're
A big white
temporarily
service
located
tent.
Across the street,
We
yeah.
could use that old ambulance.
We
Come
have
in,
a
folks.
solution.
It fits 2 chairs.
30-year-old ambulance.
I need a shot before you come in.
Okay. I also brought a recommendation for a race for Kaylee.
She's so grumpy.
okay to help with billing, or is she just like the front receptionist?
She's front reception mostly, but she keeps track of everybody's vaccine status and mails out all of the reminder postcards for that. She sends out reminders for all of our family planning clients. She sends out reminders for WIC. She keeps a lot of stuff organized for us and does a lot.
You know what, range 4, step 3 would actually be.
She was at 1305, I think it's 1330. This one.
You want to go range 4, or she was range 4, step 2, you want to go range 4, step 3?
You have
I had April on it because that's when I had it done and I never got up here first. Yeah,
May 1st.
yeah, I'll do May 1st.
Make a motion, we do a salary increase for Haley Kistner from range 4, step 2 to range 4, step 3, effective May 2019.
Second.
We have a motion to do a step increase for Haley Kishner from range 4, step 2 to range 4, step 3. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I will get on the phone whenever I get back and call TNT and call that nice guy from Montego and try and get him to show up too, so.
So we usually wait till you talk to the insurance before you start talking, or just go ahead and start getting the
It's
organized?
Go ahead and start.
I'd start.
I mean, it's got to come out.
Yeah, if we need to get it out of there. It looks, with the baseboards off, it looks really gross.
Yeah.
And I have white paint bought that we're gonna just paint that hallway bathroom with the white paint, so we might just get that done before they put baseboards and everything up. That way we don't have to worry about painting around baseboards and just have that done too.
I would imagine there will be carpeting and the tile and stuff with the basements on. I don't know if TNT does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since TNT started, if they can do the whole thing, I'd be happy with that. But
Yeah, I would call it.
Don't get orange tile.
I will not. We'll get something neutral that's not dark.
White. That's timeless.
Yeah, yes, something that looks nice and will look good for a
You do
long
watch HGTV.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Well, we do have Hunter Green Kitchen countertop, which is painted.
Is,
We'll go into these stuff.
Okay. Basically, 2 years, or 18 was a tough year in that we had quite a bit of expense over with our budget. Yeah, you might.
They changed the budget for us
Okay.
this year. And they
Today is an
did.
OJA, they don't want us to send all this
So it doesn't
information.
include the current budget year. So this is more what you're used to looking at.
Well, what it shows on this form, it shows our actual budget for 18 was, what we actually spent, $70,000. The current budget year, this year we're budgeted $57,000. We think at this point we may be right around $58,000. So we think this year's budget's going to be pretty much right on the money. It's a little difficult to tell because we're estimating it after 4 months. So that doesn't always apply. We are asking for an increase this year and we're going to go through a couple of reasons. Up to $66,500. The main reason is, one of the main reasons is the recording system up there is about at least 12 or 13 years old. When we have a criminal case or any kind of a case, you need to record. We don't have a court reporter down here all the time. When Judge Walters is here, she does pleas and different things, and you have to put on the machine. The machine doesn't work very well. Again, it's about 12 years old, and that's going to be about $7,000 or $8,000.
I don't know that it's that.
$5,000,
I thought it was like
I'm sorry,
five.
$5,000 for that.
And then,
Go ahead,
and it
Serena.
was gonna be to help cover legal defense, and then our computer, IT provider, Central Plains, this year went to managed services. They had to raise their rates for 10 years. We told them it would have been much easier if they would have raised them a little bit along the way instead of raising them. But Renee's contract does not include her, what they did was average out over 4 years, but she had higher than normal usage on hers because they tried to baby along the server last year, of which, if hindsight was 20/20, Johnny and Tim said they would have just bought a new server instead of trying to spend a lot of money trying to fix it. I think they fixed. But that kind of bumped her up. So his rate for that is $105 an hour for usage, but compared to like NextTech and Gilmore Solutions, they're $150. So we are, they're familiar with our system, and we are using them across the district. At this point, we would prefer to stay with that same vendor because we have a lot of those issues. Eventually, when we go on to Odyssey, which will be the state program in a couple of years.
What Odyssey is, it's Topeka's belief is they're going to have one great computer in the sky in Topeka. And they're going to run everything.
It's like the DMV did a couple of years ago.
And the positive, the negative is, there's going to be lots of problems, I think, initially. The positive is we're like 3 years, we're now within 2.5 to 3 years to implement it in our district. They're starting at this in June, like in Johnson County or maybe Lawrence. Then they're rolling it out gradually throughout the state. So we hope by the time they get to our district, the bugs will be fixed. The purpose of that is a couple-fold. One, if they can access anybody anywhere in the state of Kansas. So if Douglas County and Lawrence says we're backed up, they can call Colby, they can call Barton County, they can call Stafford and say, we need help. You have a clerk available. They can access, we from out here can access in and we can file their cases for them, help file cases for them. If we have, Renee got sick, was out for 2 or 3 weeks, we could call and say, hey, we need help. So we could have someone from Sedgwick County access and help us do things. The thought is very good, and actually Nebraska kind of does that right now. That's where they got the theme for it. So we think once that occurs, then the majority of computers are all going to be, issues are going to be with Topeka. They're going to have their own IT completely for the whole state, and they're going to be doing everything. So it'll eliminate some of the
Because now it's setting up 5 servers, and judges and court services all have to be able to communicate with all 5 servers. And there's
5
always
counties.
issues.
Anyway, going back to the regular document we have on page 2, it shows what we spent in 18. Yeah, that one here, and it looks like what we think we're gonna spend in 19, what we're asking for a budget for 20. Again, that increase is about 5,000 for a new recording system, plus the criminal defense has gone up over the last year or 2. It's good and bad. Unfortunately, there's still crime in Stafford County. Mr. Robinson is prosecuting cases pretty promptly and trying to get things still going. You've got attorneys who are testing the new county attorney. Mr. Sheepak has been for quite a while. Some cases he prosecutes, some he wouldn't. They want to find out if Mr. Robinson is willing to actually go to the mat and try a case, and he's had to do that occasionally. We think that will level it off. We had a couple of civil jury trials. We had a 3-day jury trial last year, which wasn't legal defense, but it still cost for jury
Because the
expenses.
jury
Jury fees went up and went over a little bit last year. The other thing that's going up, and again, that the computer computer services are gonna charge a little more. They've increased their rates since they haven't been in the last few years. That, that's where we're at. We understand it's always tight. We're just asking you to consider it and give us what you believe is appropriate. Renee, I think, doesn't do a heck of a lot that is unnecessary. She does things that's required and tries to work on within the budget. One of the things we do want to point out on page 2, we also collect throughout anything cases filed. We collect money. A certain amount goes to the state, certain goes to the county. Last year, I think 9,900 went to the county. This year, we think about 10,000. So adding out that budget, 10,000 of that's going to come back to the county just through filing fees and costs. We also have a district budget for Mr. Wyckoff here. That, if you go to page 7, there's a district budget of $109,000 that we've had for every year. And that district budget includes all the 5 counties in our district. Martin County actually funds that initially, and then they bill the individual county. You pay by a percentage of the population. Stafford County is only 8% of the whole population, so you pay $8,000 back to reimburse Martin. That district expense is like when I travel to St. John, or I make a phone call from Martin County, or Judge Hipp, who's in Ellsworth, calls Stafford. For a Stafford County case, it's on her phone line, getting billed in Ellsworth, but it's for Stafford County cases. So that is anything to do with judges, court reporters, court service officers who travel throughout. We don't know whether to bill what county. It's a district expense, and we just basically share that among all 5 counties. It's worked for lots and lots of years, and it's about as fair a way as we think can occur. Education, travel, equipment rental, postage, mailing, like I mail cases to Stafford County or Ellsworth from Barton. You guys share in that. We just don't know how we do it otherwise. Lundy is a court service officer. Lundy, you want to kind of visit a little bit about, what you guys do and who comes down and.
Okay, so as court services, I have a lot of us probation officers, so we supervise offenders, we supervise the whole gamut. We do adults, juveniles, misdemeanor, felonies, and we also do court reports. So we do what's called pre-sentence investigations. Pseudo court is one of our big things. Anytime somebody's convicted of a felony in the state of Kansas, we're required to run criminal history, which entails getting it from all over, whether it be California or wherever. We have to get a hold of those, meet with victims, meet with the offenders, get statements, and then submit those to the court for sentencing. The caseload in Stafford County stays pretty level. The one thing we've seen an increase in is PSIs, and that's just because there's been more felony convictions that have occurred. We did 6 in 2017, 21 in 2018. And we're well on our way to get more than that this year. So
What's PSI?
the pre-sentence
Pre-sentence
investigation.
investigation.
Okay.
For the
And that's
felony
fine. And
convictions.
what that is, under the sentencing guidelines, you have to find out how much criminal history they had and what level of crime. And so you find a guy, you put it out on the computer in the state, all over the U.S., and if they've got a conviction of a felony in California or Texas, that is something that they have to look into. Therefore, they have 3 felonies that moves them up on the grid. We figure out how much sentence. So that's something that's mandated by statute, and it gives us more. Everyone does the same sentencing, whether you're in Colby or Wichita or Great Bend or Stafford or wherever. That's the reason for that. The legislature implemented that several years ago, probably 8 or 10 years ago. Maybe longer, I kind of forget. But that's the purpose of pre-sentence investigation. But that is fairly time-consuming because you have to go out through the U.S. and find out if they have a conviction over in North Carolina or Texas. And they can do that. Normally these people aren't convicted other places, but if they do have it, you have to then go get the convictions,
The journal entries.
certified journal entries, the documents to prove that, yes, they were convicted out there. But sometimes the defendants say, no, it wasn't me, I didn't do that. No. Here's the journal entry that says you did do it.
Is there a national database to do that from?
Well, and then the other part is, a North Carolina burglary might not equate to a Kansas burglary, and you have to look at what their statute says. Well, what what our statute says and kind of match the best you can, sometimes we have those issues.
Yeah.
Those are probably the most time consuming, I
Oh,
would
yes,
think.
yes, the out-of-state ones, because they have to be exact per statute. So burglary somewhere else may not be what it is here, and so we have to figure out the statute that best resembles that conviction, and sometimes it's off the wall, but it's what we have to do. So those are time consuming. Another big part of it is an LSIR. I use all those little letters, but basically what that is a risk needs tool. We have to speak with the offender. It takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, and that's in order for us to place them on the right level of supervision. So we want to make sure that, you know, people are where they belong. And so if it's a higher level, there's more intensive. If it's us, you know, make sure they're getting the right level of supervision.
And this is all mandated by
Yeah.
legislature. You know, we don't just voluntarily say, oh, we want to do a risk assessment. We're required to do it. If we don't, we get in trouble.
Your question about a database, they do run like a III where they get the record, but then that's like the starting point. Then you have to call, because sometimes there's errors on it. You have to call then the courts to get the certified documents in.
Now juveniles, you have to do the YLS, and that takes.
So it's a youth level service for risk offenders, you know, again, we want to make sure that they're either going to be on probation if they're lower risk, so they aren't supervised quite as severely. If they're higher risk, you put them on community corrections. If they're bad risk, you send them to prison. That's kind of it.
Well, with juveniles now, the whole revamped juvenile system is much more community-based, and that cost is being, how shall I say, reallocated to the local level.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot more juvenile offenders on versus where at one point they would be placed, you know, in a detention facility or somewhere. They're releasing them and putting them out to the community. So we're making sure they get put on the right level of supervision. And what we as court services do is we supervise a higher number of caseloads. So we, you know, because we're not intensive, it doesn't mean we don't have intensive people, because they just didn't commit the felony. We might have a misdemeanor on that is also somebody that was previously convicted of murder or something. It doesn't make them less serious of offenders. It just is a less serious case, so we supervise those differently. But we do supervise a higher level of cases. So we may have 60, 70, 80 caseloads versus intensive are going to have, you know, 30, 40, something like that in order to, you know, supervise them at their level. But the person that covers around here is Kurt Kennedy. He's been covering here for a long time, I don't even know how long. So he's been here. So all of these new things we're talking about as far as with the having to do the new assessments and spending more time, you know, while the caseload stays about the same, the amount of work that's required to supervise an offender has changed. And so it is more time consuming, and he's doing a good job of keeping up with it. One of the things Kurt's really good at is collecting money. He is very organized in making sure offenders do their monthly payments, and you can kind of see that the money collection in here as well. Like on page 12, for example, Stafford County, he collected almost $7,200 in restitution last year. So he does do a good job of collecting the fees that are necessary.
And then that's restitution to people that have been harmed in Stafford County, citizens of Stafford County. You know, they get something was burglarized, they stole it, they broke their car window, they broke a window, or whatever it is. And I think our CSOs in our district, we try and pursue that fairly. We really want to work on that because we think that's important to the community. I will tell you, there's some people out in other districts that they just don't care. We just want to get them in, give them their time, don't commit a new crime, and don't worry about it. So we try and collect, UA fees. If they have to take a drug fee, we make them pay those. But the restitution is something I know that throughout our district, and Lundy has followed up on that after being taught by Sabrina. We want to try and collect that, and get that back to the community. For those people, at least that makes them somewhat feel better after they got their house broke into. Oh, at least we get a little money back. That's exactly right. And that's why it's pretty impressive when we get money out of the
No, I think
On page 12 on the Stafford County average monthly caseload supervised, What is the bond supervision? It says there's 3 of those.
A bond supervision is before somebody's been convicted, so they're typically, in our district, it's mostly felony cases that are maybe higher risk individual, higher level of case. I'm not real sure what they are here, but that's usually what they are, and they require usually weekly supervision. UAs.
So if they're out on bail.
It's
You're out on
ability,
bail. They get out on bail. Sometimes once you're out on bail, you're just out on bail. If there's someone that we as a judge is hesitant about, whether even if we let them out, are they going to be a little bit shaky, we'll put them on bond supervision, which means they not only are out on bail, but they do have more specific conditions. They have to report to court services once a month or once every 2 weeks, and we will drug test them. So we think that, and I will tell you, for the most part, probably they're mostly drug cases because we're concerned about a person who's addicted, and we're thinking even if they get out, they're going to immediately go back and start using. So if they do get out, and they go out back, and they are using, we test them, we'll revoke their bond and bring them to jail to trial.
We usually do start bond supervisions on a weekly basis, supervision, and then if they are clean, and a lot of them have no contact with victims and witnesses, so if we have a person crime as well, a lot of, something that maybe aggravated battery, or if we have a few people on in different areas for shooting, stuff like that, we make sure they don't have contact, but with bond supervision, it's one, and then we request one violation, we request their bond be revoked and placed back in custody. So we don't let them kind of run around and violate over and over and try to do sanctions at that point, because they're out on bond at this point. So we just, if they test positive once, if they have contact with the victim, we're going to request that their bond be revoked and they're back in custody at that point.
Well, and since we're discussing the budget issue, and another consideration for me anyway, is that we don't have our own jail. And so if that person sits in jail, then that's an expense to the county versus this option. So those folks are kind of in between. They need to stay in jail and they just need to be on regular bond. You sometimes have that kind of a
Higher level supervision,
Yeah,
higher level
yeah.
bond. We're trying to help everybody out. We want to give them the opportunity to get out. They're going to probably appear, if you get out. But if you're going to violate, then we're going to have to bring you back. But again, we want to let them out as long as they're not going to harass the victims, they're not going to reuse. We'll try the case on the merits and see what happens. That way it doesn't run a cost to you guys have to drive to Pratt or Barton County or whatever and pay those jailers 35 or 55. I don't know what it is. 35 a day, And again, I will tell you, overall in the state, there's a presumption of trying to, instead of holding people in jail to force them to enter a plea, they're trying to say, look, if they're not a danger to the society, and we think they're going to appear, then they ought to be out on bond. That's the goal, is get them out on bond. Because, you don't want to just keep people there just to force them to say, well, your trial is going to be in 60 days or 80 days or 90 days, and they can't bond out. So they say, well, heck, I'll just plead to something. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure they're only pleading if they're actually guilty. And that's a nationwide trend that's kind of been coming down like about the last couple of years. Let's get people out. If they're not dangerous and they're going to appear, let's let them out on bond. And then let's try the case on them. Now, if they then screw up when they're out on bond, let's get them back in because they've shown they aren't amenable to being out there. We work pretty well. We, as in the judges, I think work pretty well with Mr. Robinson. He does a nice job with the other attorneys. I don't have any concerns or complaints. I think Renee, I think we get along well in this district with everybody. And if we have problems, we usually get on the phone and try and resolve it. Renee, anything you'd like to state or add?
I think that covers it all, so.
We won't spend the money just to spend it. Hopefully, we'll get down under the budget. There's been, up until the last 3 or 4 years, we've had budgets and we've given $6,000 or $8,000 back because we just didn't spend it. And I know Renee isn't just going to spend it because she's got it, but it's been a rough year or two. So
Last year you were actually over, right?
Yep. And last year was, like you said, that server was a bad issue, was the biggest.
And the server and legal defense.
And legal defense went up last year.
And then we did 2 new workstations too.
My fault.
Your fault. We'll take it off your budget.
And 2 new, we had a couple other, what we have from
Rob, he's arrested him.
Right,
On your
right.
computers, would you consider, I don't know how to say this, we have a tech guy that we use that is top notch. He's a lot cheaper than
What's he
He
at,
does-
20,
he
75 an hour,
us.
or?
Yeah, and he doesn't charge mileage to come down like your guy does. Would you consider
It's
her
something,
breaking off of you?
a couple things.
We're just
Go ahead.
asking
I was
for,
gonna say, our biggest problem is generally it's the judges, the court services, we're having issues getting in, and they're using Central Plains, and then are they gonna is he gonna want Central Plains coming into your server?
I don't, I'm just asking.
I think here's a couple problems, and I tell you, I am not tech savvy at all. I am very poor. Judge Johnson's our tech guy. He's our tech judge, and Sabrina does a good job. The thing is, because we're linked with all 5 counties, having one separate from the other 4, I think if we had a problem in Ellsworth, from Stafford to Ellsworth, he's going to have to go in and work with not only Stafford and Ellsworth, which I think is going to take some additional learning for him. All the computer programs are something that he's going to have to spend quite a bit of time in learning. I think, and again, I don't know, on learning that and picking it up.
And to
work
know,
with officers,
there's
judicial administration.
things like, he got an error last week. Harry knows it's a profile issue, we've got to reset the profile, because he's had it happen enough across the district. I think that when we go on Odyssey, there's not going to be an issue with people breaking off and going where they.
We're hoping to get Thrive by 2 more years, and then we can break off and they're use their engine.
I know she pays a lot in mileage to going down here every time, but she pays a lot monthly for her backups. And it's like crazy.
And we're
what he's charging for,
trying to
quite
explain to
frankly.
them that them as in CPCIS,
But in
they need to
comparison,
be a little aware of that because
Okay.
we may break off.
Okay.
and we've talked about that, and they know that could be an option, especially when we're on Odyssey.
So that
But-
would be a county option then, or would you
Well,
guys still?
I mean, it's going to be, it
Okay.
would be the decision, but I think it would be much easier to break off once it's on Odyssey.
Because then Stafford would only have to deal with Topeka. They would
Sure.
have to deal with Ellsworth, Russell, Rice, and
Okay.
those issues. We talked with our people, and Sabrina's talked with the current computer people, saying, look, guys, we can't have this going up a whole lot more, and we got to be a little more careful because we do have counties that have their own IT. Barton has talked about
Yeah,
it.
you do.
And you guys do it. And I guess
And
we'd
that-
like to go one more year and see if it's going to be a problem. Then we may say, hey, look, we gave you an option as our current person, and then
I
if it
just
doesn't
don't,
work, we'll go with you guys.
I
Maybe
was gonna say,
something.
I just don't know how you're gonna make it work from Barton into your county. And that's where we seem to have some big issues, is remote and whether Fulport has issues. But I certainly think that once it's setting in Topeka, the world can change a little easier.
It's going to smooth it.
That's a good question. We talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, if we have
I
a
would-
deal at the
or
end of
at
the year,
least
if we have a
there
problem, we may
may-
say,
I mean, you're still gonna need somebody
May
that
change.
could set up new computers and stuff, but that could be your
all right, well, we just appreciate you looking at it, do what you can do, and we've asked that you consider it and approve it, and whatever happens, we'll work with it. All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good to see you.
See you later.
See you, Judge.
Bye, nice to meet everyone.
Get the things to work in here.
Is Phil over?
I can't see, there's too many people in the building.
I need to move those chairs to that side.
No, she's by herself.
This is already.
It's on the last 2 pages.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's right here.
Sure. Have a seat.
You guys. It was a very soggy day. All right, well, I don't know how much you all know about what I'm here. I'm Deb Scheibler, I'm the executive director of the Workforce Plan. Carolyn
Doug had been working with us. We are a local workforce investment board for the 62 counties in Western Kansas. About, I guess it's 2017, we came out and did new agreements because we're watching. I don't know if you guys recall that or if you were even in office. But since then, we are a federally funded program. Here's just a memo that kind of briefly describes all the stuff that you do.
And you said 23 counties?
62.
62. Okay.
Well, 23 would be.
Well, the other one, the reason I'm asking, we were at commission meetings last week in Junction City, and there was a workforce 17 lady.
Yes, that would be those 17 counties in southeast.
Yeah. So, but
We're the
still,
same, right, we're the
Okay.
same type of entity. There are 5 different local areas in the state of Kansas. We're the largest with 62 counties in western Kansas, and the reason for that is that the funding comes down to the states, and then they have to allocate it out. And there's a federal allocation. It's based on population, first of all, poverty level, number of layoffs, and unemployment rates. So our area is the largest, but our allocation is the smallest because of population, and our unemployment rates are drastically low right now. So that's the area of our allocations. But the reason we come out and meet with the commissioners is because when the governor accepts these funds into the state of Kansas, he or she does so on behalf of all the counties in the state of Kansas. Those funds are actually the responsibility of the local elected chief elected officials across the counties of every county in every state. So the agreements that we have to have signed do 2 things. One, it absolutely makes you aware of the fact that there is some financial responsibility to each one of the counties. It doesn't mean we're asking for money, but if we would, for some reason, spend money in this county inappropriately, we determine that this allowable cost, there's a potential that Stafford County will have to repay those funds. Now, when I say that, we also, please know, we also have things in place that protect from that. All the different insurance policies, directors and officers. The other part of the agreement, and probably the most important to you all, is that it allows you, if you would like, to appoint one of yourselves, and it's usually a volunteer type of thing, but 2 people pick on somebody else, and yeah, they do that a lot. But to sit on that chief elected official board. And what that board does, they oversee everything that we do. We have 2 boards. One is the chief elected official board, and again, it's people just like protecting the county, looking out not only for the funds, but also what are we doing? Are we helping counties with the funds that we utilize? You probably recognize us more as Kansas Works. That's what all of our centers are called across our local area. Southeast Kansas Works, they call it a little bit something different. In Topeka, they just say workforce centers. And when you get a bunch of people together at a table to try to change branding, that gets interesting, and we still haven't got there. But we all are very solid that we use the Kansas Works brand as our system, and also as our database system for jobs and job seekers, or employers and job seekers. But we have the chief elected official board that, again, meets with our local workforce development board with staff to make sure those things are being done correctly and in the best interest of the counties across our 62 counties. Our board is very adamant, both boards are very adamant that our dollars are tax dollars. We receive funding from multiple different federal agencies, but ultimately they're all tax dollars. And there are, they're given to us by every county, every citizen across our area. So they're adamant that we need to serve at least one employer, one job seeker in every single county that we serve. And we do that on a yearly basis. We report that. Whether you're a small county or you're a large county, those funds are coming together to provide us with the funds that we need for services. And I'm just going going on and on, so I do this for a living, so ask me any questions that you might have. I did want to, you're probably aware, we worked with Carolyn and her group, who is extremely progressive and also aggressive in working for this county. We worked with them on the grocery store, helping them get that in place. That's still, back up to you. But this also kind of gives you an idea of what we've done in this county, and it's almost the end of PY 2018. But in PY 2017, so that would have been July of last year to June of last year. So July 1 of 2017 to June of 2018. We served 13 job seekers. Those job seekers are served either with resume prep, interview prep, anything like that, helping them get into jobs. This one includes the work that we did in the fall with the work with creating the mobile unit here. And we had one youth that was at a work experience. We wish those numbers were larger. We'd love to connect to more job seekers. We do have funding that helps people if they need to go back to school. Our youth, they're typically looking to learn how to be successful on the job. It's not always, learning a very specific hard skill, but learning how to show work on time, get along, communicate, all those types of things is typically what we do in a work experience. Then we have 73 different employers in the county come to us for different types of services. And those employers can be ones that serve multiple counties, so not just Stafford County, but other employers, job fairs, all those different things as well. So we think different opportunities that we've served employers. So it could have been an employer that came to us multiple times that had more cream than I took coffee. That makes sense. Or had us recruiting. How are you? Good. How are you? Good. It may be an employer that was recruiting multiple positions for us.
So they got contacted from 73.
Questions? I don't know if you all have a copy of the actual agreement itself. There's this newfangled copier that doesn't actually staple.
That's close.
It's really nice.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen that before.
That is weird.
It crimps it. It's really nice, but that is the maximum page limit. So yeah, that's kind of. And if you put something in that is beyond the page limit, it will print that and then stick one behind it that's crimped too, but they're not together. So
Wow.
yeah. It does save when they get when the real staples get all mixed up into the copier, and it does save that. That's what I like. Don't have any other questions?
Perfect. Yeah, let me know if you need me.
So now your officers.
Well, every county can appoint at any time. This last year we had a little bit of turnover because of election changes. We had several changeover for that. Typically when that happens, the new commission just appoints someone new. Typically it's the newest commissioner. I mean, it is.
Or the one that's got the most time left.
I hear a train whistle.
I think it's the one that's most time left.
You've probably worked with Don Davis, the commissioner of Martin County. He's our chair of the COB. Ron Loomis from McPherson County, he's our vice chair of the COB. Him and Larry Jones from Finney County are our longest term, and then we have a couple newbies that have jumped on from Ellis, Brooks, and I have all that.
So you're looking for board member from Stafford
That's
County?
up to you. That is totally and completely up to you.
What do you think, Clay? You got time?
Is that a motion?
This is what I
It's
do.
fictional.
That is totally completely up to you. We do communicate through each one of the counties on an annual basis as well. You know, we just want to make sure that you know you have the right to, if you would like.
Did you say they meet once a year?
No. I did not say that. They meet at least 4 times a year, and sometimes in between they have, or we have conference calls where they get together and because they ratify everything that the board does. So if we have new, one of the number one things that the COB does is they appoint members to our local workforce board. So anytime that somebody changes from that, we get together and do that. Typically that's over the phone. But our board, both boards meet together on a quarterly basis, and that's usually in Great Bend. Because that's kind of the central looking. I mean, Francis Britton is all the way out in Thomas County, so, you know, we used to have a board member from there, Paul Still, he would fly to, he had a little plane he put together himself. Wow.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Are any of the board members representatives of the business community, or are they all?
On our, not on the CEOB, the chief elected official board has to be an actual elected official for that county. So that's a separate, a small one, because obviously we don't have 62 county commissioners sitting on the board. That would be a lot. Then we have our workforce development board that the law requires that we have a certain percentage of business, which it has to be 51% at least. And then we have to have a certain percentage of representatives from unions, labor free for that. And then we have to have a certain percentage of community-based organizations. And then we have to have, and those are percentages, those two are percentages. So the larger our board gets, the more of those pieces that we have to bring to the table. And right now we're kind of where we would love to have more business, but we're kind of where we have to be because we have 3 labor union representatives, and that's it really for our local area. They have to actually work not in a business that isn't a union, but it has to be an actual union representative. So we don't have a lot of that in Western Kansas, right? And then on top of that, we have to have representatives from each one of our federal vendors, like unemployment insurance, vocational rehabilitation, and that type of thing. It's very regulated by the law. But when we have openings, what happens is it goes out through the CEOBs, and they seek out nominations. Chief elected official board. I know you have 2 acronyms. Great. We create one a day.
So that's all your board members now?
That is just, these are our chief elected officials, yeah. So we have we've always been really kind of happy to have more smaller communities represented on our chief elected officials. It's interesting, of course, Riverside and Hutch are our largest communities in our area, and they're too busy. So they're not on the board, but I think from a perspective of making sure that our funds are utilized across the whole area and not, I mean, we could easily pretty much spend all of our funds in those 2 counties, we really could. But it's nice that we've always been able to have the leadership of our board be primarily rural. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So. It's not too painful if you want. But I mean, again, that's
Kurt, are you
totally
interested?
up
He's
to
a
you.
long-term, no, I'm not.
I thought maybe there was going interest there.
No.
Again, that's up to you, and you can think about it, you can appoint, what we would need is just a letter or minutes that officially appoint someone. Other than that, we just kind of need to, have the agreement signed so we can pass that on and get that taken care of, but it's not something that you have to do today. As you're looking at your calendar for the next year, that's something to look at, but I'm not here to
Do they have a set time or a set date, like every fourth Thursday of the quarter?
No, what we typically, in our June meeting that's coming up on June 14th is our annual meeting of both, and both boards will vote on a calendar for our formal board meetings then. Typically, it's the second or third Friday of the third month in the fourth. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And we kind of move things around, like our June one used to be earlier in the month, but we ran into harvest, and then we moved it, and we're running into harvest the next year, you know. That one's a hard one to move around. We've actually had board members on a combine calling in and doing comments calls with us, so it's just what you gotta do. We don't know that we, and conference calls are always going on. We've tried the ITV thing. We did it once, and my phone was ringing off the hook afterwards with board members on the They don't like the technology. They like to see each other. Really feel like you're interacting with each other.
I can do it. As long as it's not a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Pardon?
Or
Before he comes to his senses.
Or a Thursday, or a Friday, or a Monday.
Tuesday's usually seen by Wednesday.
This is workforce.
It's the CEOB. It's hardly ever Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't say that. And we really try to avoid Mondays because most of our commissions meet on Mondays, so across our area.
So do we need to have a motion to play on that?
Yeah. And then decide to.
I would move to appoint Clay to be on the CEO, CEOB board, and for the chairman to sign the agreement.
Second.
We have a motion to second. All in favor?
That's a good volunteer when you second the motion.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe first chairman.
Well, we will be in touch with you, sir, to get your contact information. We do communicate a lot through email, just setting up meetings and just like that. But
Do you have
We have an agreement to sign.
I do.
No,
And the feds asked us to put revised arrested so they can keep track of which one's where. How about
I
the
can,
da- how about the data?
I can see the problem in having established meeting dates, because we went to the Kansas County Commissioners Association last week, and that's an issue. And I think maybe they may change it to March,
Really?
because June is bad, May
Yep.
is bad.
And the only reason we always have to have one in June is that our program year
Is your
starts
fiscal
July
year,
1. Yeah, so that's approving the budget, making any changes, thank you so much, making any changes we have to make to program adding, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty important year. All right, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any other questions for me?
No?
How did you go?
If you've got a few minutes,
Sure,
I might
absolutely.
head back over to my office.
Absolutely.
Just a few, we're writing the grant right now.
This one here, it says annual lighting safety.
Did you need to try to call me yesterday?
We have lighting.
Yes. Kathleen, I think was
Oh,
I think it was actually Kathleen that called you. It sounded like you were bad.
Yeah, I kept saying hello, hello.
She can hear you, but she can tell you.
I
You
think
have
those
bad
are-
cell phone service around there? Surely not.
I live by the tower. I'm only 3 miles from the tower, and I have 2 cars.
If you had a few minutes following the meeting as well, we covered
Okay.
what we needed to.
All right.
We have minutes.
Ashley, yes?
Oh,
Okay, I'll do that. First of all, I'll make a motion to accept the contextual corrections.
Second.
A motion and a second to correct, or to accept the tax roll corrections. All in favor? Motion passes.
And I'll make a motion, we accept the non-minutes of May 1st, 2019.
Second. A motion and a second to accept the minutes for. Non-minutes.
Quit calling that. Calling that.
What
It's
do
a
you call-
record.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Isn't it?
I was here.
Yeah.
I gave me Anita raises.
Aha.
Okay. Yeah, that's not in the minutes. It's blank.
Did we vote to accept the minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Then I also make the motion, we accept the minutes of April 24th.
Second. A motion and a second to accept April 24th minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mike,
Sir,
would you elaborate a little bit on home rule? Are you up to date on that?
unless something's changed.
Or what the current, there's what did they say, 38 amendments and 17 amendments to the original home rule?
Yeah.
Did you guys discuss it in your meeting as
That's the
well?
constitutional amendment
Yes.
that's gonna be on the ballot. in
Yes.
November. Cities
Oh.
currently have very few, if any, exceptions to home rule power, whereas counties have, I think it currently is like
38 or-
some. So what they're trying to do is lift those exemptions from the county, basically. That's what we were told. I don't know why they chose this election to try to do that, since it's going to be a low turnout.
That's news to me.
It's just to clean up that amendment to where counties aren't so
I didn't think they got that through to where they were gonna vote on it.
So if they do away with these exemptions, then it will.
It'll give the county more home rule authority like it does the cities. Basically, in a nutshell. I have the summary. of
So
it.
we want home rule? Is what we want?
Yeah.
I would say so. I mean, it gets kind of cleans up.
You have it statutorily now, but there's a whole bunch of.
There's exceptions.
Exceptions.
There's more exceptions in the rule.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And it's just,
So they just want to codify everything kind of.
they want to basically lift those exceptions and give you guys.
Makes sense. So answer your question,
You
no,
can't, yeah.
I didn't know they were.
One of them that you can encumber more, or not encumber, but increase your debt. Is there some,
I don't know what they are. I don't know. But I do have kind of a summary of that big long question that's going to be on the ballot.
because Jay,
We'll fill up my ballot. So that's-
Jay said he was gonna work on talking points.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, and they're gonna present it at KAC.
So you know how to.
It's not gonna be this, it'll be, it's not this year, it's next year.
Is it next year?
Next year's election.
Okay. There's no work on this year.
I thought they were still trying to get it on the big election.
Well, you know, he was dancing around there so much, I kind of lost track of what he was saying.
I'll go
But
with
if he gets so many votes, you know, when they do, then it won't go to the election, general election, right?
And then the amendment, they got 2/3 of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
really?
if they don't, then it goes,
Then it has
then
to
it
be a
has to go to
constitutional.
general election,
Typically.
which they are going to, he is going to, starting the end of May, he's going to start working on talking points of the advantages of, and then we as commissioners and elected officials need to spread the word.
Oh, the one on this year is something to do with the census. That's right. There were two
Yeah.
that were talking about. This one is the census, redistricting and all that. Okay, I need an executive session. Do you have anything else? Do you guys have anything else? That's just for your information. after you guys read that, I posted it on the group for Bob.
It says a modification of 150 hits Lime Lane. Kingston. We've got $500,000
So you need an executive session
Yeah.
for how long?
Probably 10 minutes.
And then are we adjourning after that?
Yep, you can.
Action.
Let's do that 15 minutes.
Okay. And I need Mike and Rob. Sorry, Mike.
Okay, I make,
Accept the resignation after.
Yeah, she must have advised.
Yes, we don't have to accept it, she just does.
15, please.
15 minutes. I make a motion to go into executive session for attorney-client privilege for 15 minutes.
Second.
A motion and a second to go into executive session, 15 minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll adjourn soon.